If you're not looking to transfer in any of these forwards going into game week 36, then I am very concerned to you and your FPL season, because you need to be keeping up. You need to be making the right moves at the end of the season. We have got the serious players left in FPL who are making these moves, and you do not want to be falling behind. We've got some strikers that we want to discuss, some injuries to players or some key injuries that could be very important going forward in terms of who plays in the future, and as well as that players that have been put off penalties, which isn't ideal in the slightest. So if you're an FPL fan and you're not subscribed to this channel, do hit subscribe. We do daily FPL content, so hit subscribe on the channel. It takes 1 second. It would be very greatly appreciated. As well as that, do drop a like while you're down there as well. That would also be very greatly appreciated. Just wanted to start off by talking about Mateta, because of course he's going to be a very heavily transferred out player this week. Of course he didn't get a return against Nottingham Forest tonight. He also wasn't on the penalty as well. Eze took the penalty and scored it, so Eze will be on penalties going forward. Mateta's now not on penalties. And also, since we've brought him in, he's been largely disappointing since we've brought him in. He's been very frustrating to own. He's not got the minutes as well that we really would have wanted in terms of, he's not really been getting 90 minutes in any of the games recently. So Mateta's going to be quite an easy sell for a lot of FPL managers this week. So it's something that you need to be aware of, because he will be getting moved on this week. Well, the question is, who is the best player to move him on to? We've got Wissa, we've got Wood, and we've also got Cunha as well. We're going to be discussing which one's the best, who's got the most predicted points, who I think is going to do the best, and who I'm thinking of bringing in to my personal team at the end of the video as well. So of course we've got three very good options there, who all three of them have very good fixtures. So we'll talk about each one now in isolation. Starting off with Yoan Wissa. Of course he's been in great form, and Brentford as well. They're unbeaten in the last 5 matches, 3 wins in a row now for them, and they've been very, very impressive recently. Of course Wissa is always at the heart of that. He's almost caught up the likes of Chris Wood and Matheus Cunha on points overall this season. He has missed a few games as well, so fair play to Wissa this season. What a season he has had. And you look at the form that he's in and the fixtures that he's got next. His next 3 fixtures: Ipswich away, Fulham at home, and then Wolves away. You'd say them next 2 especially are very decent fixtures. Fulham defensively they always seem to concede a goal or two. They don't keep a lot of clean sheets, Fulham. And then as well, Ipswich next game, of course, relegation fodder, already relegated, concede a lot of goals. Brentford on form and on form away from home as well. So Wissa there in the next 2 games especially does look very good. And he's got Wolves away on game week 38, which again, it's not a bad fixture. Wolves obviously have been playing a lot better recently, but it's still not an absolutely awful fixture, you'd say. And realistically, Brentford and Wissa and mbuemo, a lot of them, they can score against anyone. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They're pretty fixture proof, and they've proved that over the course of the season for the most part anyway. So Wissa I do really like the look of. And if you look at his predicted points there, that's his predicted points over the next 3 game weeks, which of course, until the end of the season in game week 38, he's predicted to get 15.9 points. That's something to keep note of. We'll have a little look at the end of the video and just have a look who's got the most predicted points out of these players. But Wissa is getting more and more owned as the weeks go by. People are bringing him in, 17% ownership. And as well as that, if you look at that, 15.9 points is not a bad return for the next 3 matches. So he's predicted to score pretty well over the next 3 weeks. Another one who a lot of people are talking about is Chris Wood. Now, he's got an unbelievable fixture next week against Leicester at home. Obviously, Leicester are one of the whipping boys in the Premier League. Although Leicester have been a bit better recently, they picked up a few points. Obviously, they just beat Southampton in the last game. But for the most part, you would expect Nottingham Forest to get through this game despite their poor form. I've said there, they've got good fixtures till the end of the season. The next 2 matches, Leicester and West Ham are 2 very nice games. Chelsea a little bit harder, but I still wouldn't put it past Chris Wood to bag a goal in that game, in the final game of the season. It could go down to the final game as well for Champions League. Nottingham Forest, of course, still have something to play for. So it's something to definitely be aware of that. But the form that Forest are in has been pretty bad recently. Chris Wood as well, not been in the greatest form at all. I think it's like one goal in his last 7 or 8 games or something now. So that's what kind of puts me off him. He's got an unbelievable fixture next week, but he's not in form at all. Nottingham Forest aren't in form at all. And that's what's mostly kind of putting me off with Chris Wood. If you look at his predicted points there, it's 15.2. So it's a little bit less than Wissa, but still a decent return he's expected to get. But for me, if I was to choose between those 2, I would say Wissa. I would prefer Wissa right now to Chris Wood, just based on the fact that Nottingham Forest aren't playing very well at all. Brentford are playing well, and Brentford do have equally, if not better, fixtures than Nottingham Forest. So that is why, for me, out of those 2, I am personally leaning towards Wissa. Now, as for Matheus Cunha, of course, he's recently come back from suspension. He's got himself back into the Wolves side, and he's been getting returns. He did, in fact, blank in the last game against Man City, but then before that, 2 returns in his last 2 games, and he's always on the bonus points. Whenever he gets a return, Matheus Cunha is always pretty much guaranteed to be on them bonus points. And if you look, of course, Wolves, we know, are in form. Take away that game against Man City, Wolves had won 5 matches prior to that. So they are very much in form. As I say, Man City are also very much in form as well. And Wolves could have very easily got a goal against Man City in that game, and it could have been a draw. And then you're looking at it like Wolves are in unbelievable form. But as I say, 5 games before that, Matheus Cunha, or five matches for Wolves and Matheus Cunha were very much in form. So I do think that's definitely just something to ignore with the Man City game. You look at the next 3 matches to finish the season. He's got Brighton at home next. Brighton do concede goals, so I'd say that's a pretty good fixture there. Palace away, not an easy fixture, but you'd say you back Cunha to get a return in that game. You back Wolves to score at least a goal in that game against Palace. And then Brentford at home. Brentford always have games with just so many goals in them. They concede a lot of goals, they score a lot of goals. So it's a good fixture. And you say those last 3 fixtures are very nice. So you've got 3 good fixtures, and you look at the predicted points. Matheus Cunha is actually leading the way out of these 3 players with 17 predicted points over the next 3 games, which is absolutely insane. One of the highest predicted points players. I think he's the 3rd highest in the game for the next 3 game weeks. So Matheus Cunha is definitely a very good option going into this week. So all 3 are very good options. Let's just discuss my ranking in terms of who I would pick out of these players. As you can see here, we've got all 3 players. We've got the predicted points and we've got the fixtures coming up. You look at the fixtures, you'd probably say that, I'd say that Brentford do have the best fixtures out of the 3. They got a really nice game week 36. You say Brentford have equally as good as what Chris Wood has with Leicester. Game week 37, I'd say that Wissa has the fixture out of those 3, to be honest. Maybe then slightly Chris Wood just slightly in second, then Cunha in third. And then game week 38, I'd probably say it's pretty even. Of course, they're playing each other, Cunha and Wissa are, and then Wood's got the hardest fixture out of those 3. So for me, I'd say Vissa's got the easiest fixtures. Then I'd say it's Cunha just based on the 3 matches, and then Chris Wood has a better next 2, but then next 3 I'd put him further down. So for me, I'd say fixtures-wise, Vissa's got the best, Cunha's got second best, and then Chris Wood's got the 3rd best. But if I'm looking at it then from who I think is going to get the most points, honestly, I am actually leaning towards Wissa. It's very, very close between him and Cunha. And if you wanted to go for Cunha, that's absolutely valid. And I'm not 100% sold on going for Wissa yet. It's going to be between him and Cunha for me. For me, personally, I am ruling out Chris Wood. I think Wissa and Cunha, it's between those 2. And as I say, both got great fixtures. It honestly could be a flip of a coin because I could see them both doing very well. If you can only get one, it's a choice. For me, I'd probably just about edge Wissa. But that sounds a bit wrong. Not in that way. But yeah, we'll be choosing Wissa out of those. And then for me, I'll be trying to get to 2 of them, to be honest. I'm going to discuss Omar Marmoush in a second and Erling Haaland in that situation. But, you don't really want to be taking a points hit, really. But you're going to be getting a red eye if you don't own both of these because they're going to be so popular going into the next few weeks. So for me, I would at least be owning 1, but preferably you do really want to be having 2 of these forwards. As for Erling Haaland, I wanted to discuss him because he is back in training, so that could obviously mean Marmoush's positioning could be out, or he could maybe get dropped to the bench. Marmoush hasn't been great in recent weeks, by the way. He's not really been playing the right position or like a proper number 9. It's not really been great for being a Marmoush owner. It's been very frustrating, in fact. So not ideal with him. Of course, Erling Haaland coming back into the side. It could also, maybe boost Marmoush's chance in getting returns. Just the fact that Erling Haaland's a focal point, is a proper player, proper number 9, an actual, out and out number 9 hold up target man as a player there. So I don't mind Erling Haaland coming back in terms of Marmoush. It's just whether he'll keep his start. And if he keeps his start, it's absolutely fine. Of course, he's got Southampton. He has got the fixture of the week. So for me, Marmoush is definitely a hold this week, but then from game week 37 onwards, we'll see what happens with Erling Haaland and see how many minutes he gets, see if he starts, see if he's on the bench, and then kind of reassess there with Marmoush. So for me, in my personal team, I've got Omar Marmoush, I've got Mateta, and I've of course got Alexander Isak. He's also not looking great at the moment in terms of his form. So right now, you're looking at it, Cunha and Wissa for me are definitely choices over, for example, an Alexander Isak, and as well as that, also a Mateta as well. Even an Omar Marmoush after this week, I think they're better choices for them. So long term saying it's the next 3 weeks, not really that long term, but you know what I mean. Those 2 for me are the best in Cunha and Wissa, and Chris Wood then I would put in 3rd just due to the fact that he's not as much in form as what those other 2 strikers are. So let me know who you're thinking of bringing in the comment section down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. It'd be very much appreciated. It takes 1 second to subscribe. If you watch this point, the rules on the channel, you have to subscribe if you watch this point. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.